Okay, welcome everyone to the Magic Region team call. We started hosting these at the beginning of July, and I've been really enjoying them for a number of reasons. We kind of have a little bit of a tighter, cozier group that we get to, where we have an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better, as well as take advantage of all of the talent that we have right here within this region. And not only that, but have a little bit more of an opportunity to really dive in and tune in to what people really truly need. So last week, I think it was, we chit-chatted a little bit about the success plan and just talking about different acronyms that all too often get kind of left out and missed or just assumed that people know these things. So we have the recording for that call in the event that you missed it and you'd like to um, tune into that. But this week, we are talking about demand creation. And I thought, who better to lead that call than some awesome district managers within the region? And especially given the fact that we have the district power to promotion that is going on this month, where it is giving the opportunity for brand new consultants or consultants that have been around, any consultants, it's giving you the opportunity to promote to that first level of management with essentially half the volume that is typically required. So we can chit chat a little bit more about that at the end if anybody has any questions. And of course, as always, my strategy calls opportunity are open for everyone as well to work one-on-one. However, without further ado, I would like to turn it over to my pal, Kayla Constable. So, Kayla and I have
Okay.
known each other for quite some time via the horses. I get to ride her Charles and yeah, just be a part of that journey with her too, which is just so awesome. And I love that we get to do that. So while a lot of our conversations are about horses, tonight she is going to share kind of her top three tricks or tips of success when it comes to promoting to that first level of district manager slash maintaining it. So without further ado, Kayla, take it away.
Hi guys. So I have been an Arbonne consultant underneath Mandy for about a year and a half, I think it's been. And when Mandy asked me to do either three roadblocks or three assets, I think they're both one and the same. I think my roadblocks are my assets in disguise. So the three of them being consistency, recruitment, and my way of thinking. So, with that consistency, as with everything in life, everything that has value in life is a product of consistency. So, working out, we have to be consistent with it to see results. In school, we have to study to get results, right? So, this can also be a roadblock and an asset. So, when I have treated my business as a hobby or I'm inconsistent or not putting in the time, it just doesn't produce as it should. But when I'm treating my business like it's a non-negotiable, and what I mean by that is pretending it's my only source of income is when I've had my most successful months. My second one is recruitment. So this has been a roadblock and also an asset, my most challenging area for sure. I am naturally an introverted, loyal person, but also one that does the opposite if external pressures are put on me compared to when I put my own pressure on me. I don't know if everybody else is like that, but that's definitely who I am. So recruiting preferred clients and new consultants to join my team is out of my comfort zone. And I do know this about myself, and I have to push hard to find people who align with me. In ways I have become successful in this area is personal development. Also, I believe in just being who you are will attract other people. I think that we're all unique and there's room for all of us to grow. That is the asset. We aren't meant to do this journey alone, and I've learned that throughout this. My third one would be way of thinking. When I started this journey, the consensus from the consultants above me was all it starts with you. I sat in a lot of Zoom calls and all of them were saying it starts with you. At first, I didn't know what that meant until I hit my roadblock. So I had promoted to area manager and then I lost it. I lost that promotion and my own mind became my obstacle. The big words I used all the time were failure and rejection. My personal growth on this was I had to change those words. My vocabulary, I had to change it. My way of thinking. I changed those words to detour or my first attempt at learning. So that's the asset. You have to sit with it sometimes to overcome it and what you're going to do about it. So what I did about it is I reached out to my colleagues. We aren't designed to have all the answers, and that is the beautiful thing about this is we can lean into each other for strategic thinking and problem solving. I don't know how many times I've messaged Mandy and been like, map this out for me. This is my goal this month. So every single person on this call has some experience. They have been given the tools to be able to offer success to another consultant's roadblock. So another thing I do is reading self-development books. My favorites are Atomic Habits and anything from Brianna West. And I truly think if you believe in yourself, I have learned if we change the way we are thinking to saying we aren't ready or this isn't the right time to just being consistent and yourself, you'll attract recruitments and your goals. And that's all I had. Do you guys have any questions? No?
Oh my gosh, Kayla. Okay, I'm just putting that in the chat, your book. So Atomic Habits
Habits.
and
And
anything
I right
from,
now love anything from Brianna West. I think
yeah.
it's great.
Okay. So Brianna West, she did, what was that one that she just did?
I
I feel
grabbed them.
like, yeah, I feel like I had that one on audio. I was listening to it.
Right beside my bed, actually.
Yeah.
The mountain
Oh,
is you.
the mountain is you. Oh, Pivot Year. Yes, Pivot
Oh,
Year
the
was the
pivot
one I
year.
had
Yes.
on. Yeah, I was listening via audio. That is such
Yes.
a good one.
Is
Okay,
this a good
whoa.
one?
What's that?
This one is good too.
Yes, I don't think I've even started that one. I am really guilty for downloading audiobooks and then skipping around, but I don't think I've even downloaded that one. So I'm excited.
Yes.
Um,
It's good.
okay, whoa, like holy moly, goosebumps. Like pop it in the chat if anybody else felt goosebumps or if that was just me. So a couple things, well, I wrote down quite a few things, but a couple things that I highlighted was A, being authentic. I mean, I've always felt like I have been authentic, but I feel like the more I dive into my business, the more I realize that that couldn't be more true. Like, because the fact of the matter is people are buying us essentially. And so the
Mhm.
more we can be ourselves, the more we are different, right? Versus trying to be the same as Nancy Sue over there or Rita. So I really, really love that point. And then mindset, of course, mindset is truly everything. Um, and something that sounds a little dramatic, but something that I've really been diving into. Well, I actually took a master class last week that was just like so good. And they talked about dopamine death, which again sounds super dramatic, but just about how, it is so easy to do anything when we have that hit of dopamine. So when we talk about like Arbonne, when we promote or when there's a fizz sale or when we have someone new join our business, it is so easy to work our business. And then all of a sudden, something switches, or the sale is done, or something doesn't go our way. And then all of a sudden, we kind of lose that dopamine. And mindset has such a big piece of helping us continue to put one foot in front of the other when that dopamine isn't there, instead of just like quitting working our business. So, anyways, and then the last thing I wrote down was treating it like it's our own source or like it's our only source of income. I think that that is amazing and something that I can really relate to as well. Okay, thanks, Kayla, for kicking us off,
You're
especially kind of
welcome.
right off the bat when you weren't planning on it. Yeah, okay, so if you guys have any questions, actually, Kayla, can you drop your Instagram handle into the group chat so that people can follow you? And then if anybody ever has any questions, during the call or after the call and want to reach out to Kayla, she is an absolute ray of sunshine that I can attest to from multiple areas. Um, but yeah, just overall, especially when it comes to Arbonne, she is a wealth of knowledge. You are a powerhouse.
So are you.
Oh. Um, Okay. All right. I am not seeing Sarah yet, so that's okay. All right. Okay. Tegan, you're up next. So, Tegan, I'm actually just going to figure out if everyone could just mute themselves, actually. I'm just going to figure out how to see if I can make Tegan the host. But I think if everyone just mutes themselves instead, or except for Tegan, that'll help. Okay, so while everyone's muting themselves, so Tegan also, I don't know, this might sound a little creepy, but I feel like we have known each other for quite some time. I see you kind of laughing or smiling, so that's good. Um, Mainly over social media and through horses. And so she is actually direct to Leanna. And I'm so grateful to also have her here tonight to be able to share her experience of recently promoting to district manager. So she is a brand new promotion. She wrapped it up last month. Yes, whoop whoop. Show her some love in the chat. And so, yeah, I just think that it's so powerful to hear from all district managers. Um, but yeah, especially one that's newly promoted. So take it away, Tegan.
But I had to figure out how to unmute there. Um, I do have so I'm Tegan. I signed up in April under Leanna. And my things, well, when Leanna and Mandy asked me to do this, my gut instinct was no. And then I thought it was like really. So some of my biggest things, and kind of like Kayla said, like the struggles are also like the start at the end to get you there. So my thing is know your why and be honest about it. Um, we've all signed up for different reasons, and then we all have different skills that we bring to the table. Um, and you're here to do it for a reason, and whatever that reason is, just be honest with it because people want to know you. Um, Being consistent is huge. Even when you feel like nobody's watching you, they are. I noticed this at the beginning of the month. Like even this month, I thought there wasn't people watching me back in June, and I got all sorts of comments at the beginning of July with that. So they're there all the time, watching us with everything we do. And then my last one is to be brave and step out of your comfort zone because we don't grow when we stay put. I know one of the quotes I work in a chiropractor's office, and one of the quotes on there is don't relive the same year 75 times and call it a life. So that's about all I have. I'm sorry, I'm short and sweet.
That's okay. Oh, yeah, I am still here. Okay. Yeah, no, that is totally fine, Tegan. You had some super, super awesome points. And I've seen that quote before, and it actually kind of scares me a little bit to think that that is what actually, honestly, a lot of people do. And that is such a beautiful thing about this business and that opportunity is that we get to share this with those people that kind of tend to live a life like that. And all too often when I am surrounded by this community and by this opportunity, I forget that a lot of people don't get or don't put themselves in a position to be exposed to, the positivity and the opportunities and the optimism that we are. And so as consultants, it's our duty to share what's possible for anybody and everybody, but we just have to remember that not everybody is surrounded like we are with this type of thing. Awesome. So, so good. Two things too, like consistency. You couldn't be more bang on with that. Especially, when I chit-chatted a little bit about the whole dopamine death thing. I'm gonna have to find a different name for that because I feel it's so dramatic, but it's so true because a lot of times, like I said, when when people don't have that fizz sale or don't have those exciting things in our business, it's so easy to kind of just slough off or lose that consistency. Whereas you're right, that consistency, when we can keep it going, that's when people are watching. people are watching, right? And so that's when people tune in. And the other thing too is I feel like if it feels scary, it's usually the thing we need to do to move our business, right? It's feeling scary for a reason a lot of times. And usually it's just the next step we need to take. So amazing. Okay. Um, Thank you guys. Tegan, actually, I know you're driving. So if it doesn't work right now, would you mind popping your Instagram handle in just the group chat? Just the Magic Nation group chat or the Magic Region group chat? Okay, amazing. Does anybody have any questions for Tegan? Don't be shy.
Can I ask what everybody's experiencing as their roadblock right now? Like, is there anything we can help with?
Yeah, awesome question, Kayla. Um, I'm not sure that Sarah is able to join. So what we'll do is we have another district manager on the call right now, my pal Sash. So maybe what we'll do, if you guys want to think, so I would like to end the call with just sharing some goals. Um, and if you don't want to share, that's totally okay. But there's a lot of power behind putting your goals out there. So while Sash is just sharing a couple of points, if you want to just put some thought into what you would like to share with us tonight around goals and roadblocks, and then we'll chit chat about that after Sash. So nothing like putting Sash on the spot. She's gonna fill in for Sarah tonight. So Sash is a really, really great pal of mine. Again, oh, Sarah can share in about 3 minutes. Okay, great. We're getting all the things. But you're not off the hook here, Sash. So Sash is a really great pal of mine. Again, go figure. We know each other through horses. And so you promoted in February. So basically, within 25 days of starting her business, she promoted to the first level of management, which was an absolute joy to be able to watch and just a beautiful thing. We did some awesome celebrating on month end in February. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and yeah, hear what Sasha has to say.
Okay, so my name is Sasha. I moved to Porcupine Plain in October, and the winter out here was extremely boring, and I was like, okay, maybe I should take Mandy up on this whole Arbonne thing to give myself something to do while I'm sitting on the couch because I only was working like a part-time job. And so I had a lot of time in January and February and March because, well, my boyfriend's a farmer, so he was at home and literally nothing was happening. We weren't calving yet. And so we were just like watching TV show after TV show, and I was like, "Hey, I need to make some money." So then I like went head first into this whole Arbonne thing, and like Mandy said, I promoted in to district manager within like 25 days, which was like crazy because like so much was going on, and I was having orders coming in, and I wasn't like having to do too much work. And then I hit district manager and got like like started like building my business, and then summer came and I was like, I don't want to be on my phone. I'm now working at a bank, so like I'm always on a computer talking to people. I'm like, I come home and I just want to hang out with my dogs and chickens and call it a night sort of thing. So like my roadblock for sure has been trying to like fit it into the summer months and like not just expect everything to fall into my lap and like actually having to reach out to people and throw parties and or like host parties and yeah, just like find different ways to grow my business. So the one thing I've found is like, well, my mom, she has a lot of close friends, so like I think she's done like 3 or 4 virtual events for me, so that's been really nice. um, but yeah, that would be my biggest roadblock. So my goal is to start, obviously, continue building my business. And yeah, is there anything else I was supposed to share on?
No, that's good. That's good. And I love that you tuned into that because you know what? All too often we do. We talk about the pearls and the diamonds of this business, but like every single business, there are going to be hang-ups. So there's going to be hurdles, there's going to be roadblocks. And, we become stronger when we talk about them and we have a beautiful community to talk about them and overcome them,
Yeah.
right? And so, I'm going to use dopamine death again. Like, I remember back when I was first starting out my business, again, like if there wasn't the fizz sale or if there wasn't something exciting, I didn't do a lot of my business. And I mean, now being a consultant for over 10 years, I know that I don't really wait for that big shiny sale to come around or to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And one of the reasons for that is because most recently I have shifted my way of building my business from sharing my why to sharing my mission. Okay. And so Ashley Russell recently talked about this. If you don't follow her on Instagram, I'll put her Instagram handle in here. I think this is it. I highly suggest following her. She is just a guru when it comes to network marketing and the network marketing industry. And so she recently talked about switching, what you talk about from your why to your mission. And one thing I found when I switched that was I never ran out of content. Okay. And instead of just posting about Arbonne products, I always tie them back to what my mission is. So personally, my mission is around keeping people dreaming and keeping people knowing that anything is possible. Because I find all too often, especially adults, we get to a point where we kind of just settle or we stop believing. And I'm not here for that whatsoever. Like if you're hanging around me, you better believe that I am going to push you to dream bigger and believe in yourself more. And so, with that being said, ever since I started really chatting more about that than my why, I've been able to integrate the product and the opportunity into so much more of my content. And so, bringing that back home to how I've evolved over the years is now I don't wait for those big shiny things to come around because I wake up every morning in my business and I think to myself, who can I encourage to dream bigger? And who can I encourage to believe in themselves more? And how can I use Arbonne, the products or the opportunity to do that? Or my horses, of course, as we know, that's just like ongoing every day, all day. And so that, in terms of your roadblock, I want to hear what other people have to say, but that's something, I mean, you and I can like chat more and do like a one-on-one, Sash, and I'll send you GIFs and all the things, um, but that would definitely be something I would encourage you to think about is, yeah, like what is your mission? You know,
Yep.
instead of, just talking about the products, like how do you want to help people with these products?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then fitting it into my day and actually like doing stuff instead of just watching TikToks. Because I get in a scrolling habit and it just keeps going.
We all do. We all do. Oh. Okay, thanks, pal.
No
Sarah is
problem.
here, and I want to take advantage of this before she loses reception. So what we'll do is we'll pop it over to Sarah, and then, like I said, I'd love to hear any goals or more roadblocks. Sash, we can come back to you too if you want, and we can end the call that way. So without further ado, so Sarah is another direct to Liana, and she is also a rock star. You have to remind me, Sarah, exactly when you promoted. Um, so with that being said, I'm just going to let you take it away because, like I said, I don't want you to lose service.
Hi, yes, I kind of already did again, but hopefully it doesn't cut out here.
Okay.
Anyway, my name's Sarah Kashane. I've been in direct sales for over 6 years, but I was actually with 31 before switching to Arbonne. So 31 shut down, as probably most of you know. So I guess it was just kind of the best option for me to switch to Arbonne as I was already using so many of their products. and I actually promoted in December. So luckily, obviously, I had my customer base from 31 and kind of gave that some time to settle, and then kind of switched my VIP group over to Arbonne. And so I already had a pretty good base of people. So that was definitely a bonus there. I think it was a little bit discouraging at first because some people did leave my group because they probably had their own Arbonne consultants or maybe just weren't interested at the time. But yeah, I think probably I feel bad because I don't know what you talked about already, so I might be repeating things.
That's
But
okay.
I think the biggest thing is those connected contacts and just really reaching out to people in personal messages or texts. I haven't really gotten into the emails yet with Arbonne, but there's so many different ways to connect with people, not just through Facebook posts. And I think another thing I learned from 31 is we were very reliant on Facebook. I think too reliant.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just having more than one way to contact your people. And I think you've probably all of you have noticed like Facebook hasn't been great lately with views and things like that. So I'm trying to get more into doing like the Instagram lives and post more there. And I think definitely seeing a shift of going back to like the in-person parties and people wanting that again. Although I'm finding like I'm actually hosting it at my house so that people don't have to do any work, or at least offering, if you want to host it at your house, like you don't have to do anything. Because I think people, it stresses them maybe to have to clean their house or prepare food or so definitely seeing a shift with that. And yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges for me has been learning the product because there's a lot of product. And I've had some people ask me some pretty hard questions. So luckily I've had other people to help me, like my upline to help me be able to answer those because sometimes they're tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was one other thing I was going to mention, but I'm kind of blanking right now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You have listed some amazing points, especially about the in-person events. Full
Mhm.
disclosure, I have literally just hosted my first in-person event this past winter. After being in business for almost 10 years, I always built via social media.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until this past winter that I teamed up with a local artist and illustrator, or sorry, author and illustrator here right in my neighborhood. And she would offer watercolor workshops. And so it really helped me gain the confidence I needed to host in-person events, having her as kind of my wing gal at first. And then after a couple of those, we would tag team them. Now I'm to the point where, like, yeah, come to my house, try all the products, let's have some fun. And I get so excited about them for one of the reasons being that I know how much events like this are so missed amongst people. Just being able to get together, get taken care of, trial some products, especially things like makeup. Like that doesn't
Mhm.
happen very often, right? Um, and just be in a wholesome community. I know the last event we did, we kind of treated it a bit like a drinks and dreams event, and we all went around the table and shared with one another, what we really want out of life, or like what would that MVP, salary do for everybody, right? When they get there. Um, and it was just, yeah, it was just a really wholesome, soul-filling event. So I couldn't agree more with that, Sarah.
Yeah, and Leanna definitely helped me with that as well. She came to Regina and helped me do my first kind of in-person event, which was, I guess, more of a launch. And then I also did fizz and facials. I think about 8 people came, but it was like really fun and lots of questions and people trying different products. So
Amazing.
I'm hoping to do another one in August after I'm done traveling across Canada, apparently. So
And 8 is massive. That's a big event.
yeah, I was actually like people kind of came at different times, but that was perfect because then, different people, some people were done trying the products and were visiting, and so yeah, it worked nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. I know the last Sip and Paint I hosted here before, they were great winter events. And so the last one I had, I think I had 15 people. So I had to like set up a table in my living room. Like if anybody's ever been to my house, which I don't know, Sash, I think you might be the only one. It's not huge. So I had people at my island, I had people at my kitchen table, I had people in my living room. I almost had to put people on my stairs. It was massive. So anyways, I love the smaller ones, if there's just
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 people because they're just cozy and you have an opportunity to get to know everybody and have some really good one-on-ones. So
Yeah, I think the other one I was going to mention, I just remembered, was follow-ups. It's just following up
yeah.
even, you know, 3 weeks later or 2 weeks later. I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on the product they're trying, but yeah, I think following up is a good way to start other conversations. And
Mhm.
yeah, maybe that was already mentioned. Like I said, I don't know what was said
Okay.
before.
You know what? I actually
Yeah.
don't think any of this was mentioned from my notes. So all really, really
Okay.
good points. Yeah.
Okay. Glad it was helpful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sarah, are you able to drop your Instagram handle in the comments
Yep.
so we can follow you? And then does anybody have any questions for Sarah? You shared some awesome tips around in-person events and connecting with people because oftentimes I know that that can be tricky, network marketing, but how do we connect with people? Especially when we've kind of run out of our warm market. Okay. Okay, well, those are our shares for this evening. So thank you so very much to Tegan, Kayla, Sash, Sarah. I have everybody into my little wheel of names for some free Starbucks. But before we get to that, like I said, I would love to hear about any goals, especially like I said, as the Power to District Manager promotion is still ongoing this month. Does anyone have any questions around that? Feel free to share your goals, any roadblocks. The floor is open. Don't be shy. Oh, hi, Taryn.
Hi, sorry, I'm just at work, so that's why I was not on camera. But I just want to jump on and say like I still have a big goal to hit district manager, hopefully by the end of this month, but we'll see. I've had a couple new PC signups this month, and I've had a lot of people reaching out to me lately, and I noticed that like a huge thing for me that encouraged so many more people to reach out is um, when I was out in Yorkton for 3 weeks, I went crazy with orders, especially with the sale on and everything. So I had like 4 different boxes show up to my house, one of them being like the bulk order that I placed for Fizz like back at the beginning of the month. But I went on live and I like unboxed all of my boxes, start to finish. And I did that on Instagram and I posted it on Facebook. I posted it in my VIP group. Like I just plastered it everywhere, including Snapchat as well. And one thing is that I noticed is so many more people were reaching out about like, oh, like I'm more interested in like this item or like, is there something for this that could help me like and I just kind of went through and like explained why I'm so excited to use each of the products. And As I've been using them, I've been giving like pointers and like going lives with that as well. So that was one thing that like really, really boosted people reaching out to me. And so I was kind of shocked when I had a whole bunch more orders go through this month just because people have been silent followers for me. And unless I place like a big bulk order and like I've been reaching out personally to people and trying to encourage them, I haven't been getting like much interest. So this was like huge step in my business and it made me so excited. So that is my goal is I'm still on track and hoping to hit district manager by the end of the month. Um, but if not this month, definitely August. And yeah, a huge roadblock for me, I guess, is just sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much or posting too much or um, being annoying, so to say, to those around me. But like after talking to Mandy too, it's just like if you word things just slightly differently, it makes it a different approach. And then you're not such an annoying person reaching out or, and then you get people responding back to you. So yeah, I'm just
Amazing,
gonna
Taryn.
mute myself again because I just have to go do something. But
So good. Thanks, Taryn. Um, okay, Sarah actually already kind of acknowledged this in the chat. But she was all too right. Like people like, and I know this was mentioned, Tegan, you mentioned this for sure. Like people are always watching. And, like Taryn, you by, getting on and doing your lives and doing your unboxing, like the fact of the matter is sales, okay, or sharing these products isn't just going to find success when we, get on and talk about, well, this is for sale and can you buy it for me? Okay? Like there's so many ways of getting in front of people and just keeping them reminded of what we do and what we offer and what we provide. And Taryn, you doing that live of your unboxing is a perfect example of that. Because at the end of the day, sometimes it's just doing things to keep it top of mind with people that when they hear your name, they know, oh, that's the Arbonne lady. She's got all that sweet fizz, or she makes those sweet protein shakes on Instagram all the time, right? Like there's so many ways of sales and marketing without being salesy, because at the end of the day, like we don't want to be salesy. Like all too often I will hear, people say like I don't know anything about sales or I'm not a salesperson. That's great. We actually don't want that at all, right? So that's a great, great example, Taryn. And there's like absolutely not a doubt in my mind that this will not be happen or this will be happening for you this month. 100%. With your amazing mindset and your just go-getterness, I know that we will be celebrating your promotion come August 1st, and I cannot wait. Absolutely cannot wait.
well, and like for me too, I really want to gain the experience of like hosting a party, whether it's in person or online or anything. But I've like reached out to a few people, and the only one who expressed interest, which was my aunt who lives in Alberta, they're in the process of like moving from Fort McMurray to Grand Prairie right now, so like huge move for them. And so she's like, it's kind of busy right now, but she's like, come fall, like I won't be working, and this might be something that I would be interested in, and whatever. So I'm hoping that I still get a chance to do something like that. And the sooner the better, but like I don't want to push it on people either. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I have a question, Taryn, but I think I'm actually going to hold off. It'll be kind of a question to the group, and I'm going to hold off until everyone is done sharing. So thank you so much for coming off or for turning your camera on when you're at work, because I know that's not always ideal and possible, and sharing with us. Okay, does anybody else have any goals that they'd love to share? We have a brand new, not to put you on the spot, but we have a brand new consultant on the call, Tina. just signed up yesterday. So, Tina, feel free to unmute as well if there's anything that you would like to share.
Hi, Mandy, and everyone else. Well, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay. So it's been really interesting listening to everybody and all your tips and your experiences. And you all look like a really fun group of ladies to get to know and see what you're doing and your successes. And I love what this last young lady just said, to be salesy without coming across as a salesperson. Like, I guess a goal for me would be to learn how to be somewhat successful in my goals, but not come across as being salesy. That would be a goal for me, like learning how to put this out there without annoying people and being salesy.
Yeah. Yes. 100%, Tina. And that's something that as you and I work together more on, that is definitely something I'm going to be giving you more tips on. I think a big piece of it goes back to what I shared with Sash around, not necessarily focusing on our why, but our mission.
Mhm.
What is it that we want to change, and how is it that we can help other people and the planet with these products? And I just find all too often when we can focus on that and integrate the products into it or the business opportunity into it, um,
Mhm.
and your amazing story, like I can't wait for the entire world to hear that story just around, where you are and like your experience before you retired. And like I just think that that's your superpower, but we'll wait to elaborate on that because I just can't wait for the world to hear that. When you focus on those types of things, we move away from the whole salesiness, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, very true.
yeah.
Very true. And the just people mentioning being authentic and being yourself, how important that is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings has always been be yourself because everyone else is already taken. So all you can be is be the best version of yourself.
That's so true. And so much easier
Yeah,
to just be ourselves. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. There are some amazing comments and goals. Thank you guys for sharing. Woo woo. You guys, this is honestly such a powerhouse group. And like I said to Taryn, there is not a doubt in my mind that these goals are going to come true. Like, not a doubt. Okay. Um, so I guess as we're kind of moving towards closing the call, I just want you guys to remember that we all have each other to lean on. Okay. Like I know while some of us have different sponsors, different uplines, we have each other. And one of the biggest tips from myself, I mean, I have lots, but throughout my business, I always had, I didn't necessarily call them accountability partners because they were just good pals, but I always had somebody to bounce things off of. So right now, as I'm working towards promoting to national vice president, I actually have a really good friend of mine. She's out in BC. I met her at a retreat 2 years ago, and we message each other. We send voice notes to each other every single morning saying, "Good morning, National Vice President Chelsea Boylan or Mandy Dolan." Okay. And there's honestly, it might sound a little weird to some people, but there's so much power in being able to get used to hearing those types of things. So, my suggestion to you is find somebody that you can message and just be like, hey, what are you working on? Or hey, like, this is the verbiage I got back. Like, or I'm kind of having this kind of a day, because there's honestly so much power in being able to hear from somebody that's in a similar boat as you and have them reply with like, you know what, I am also having a similar day, or hey, I'm actually doing this, right? And help you with some ideas. Um, so just if it's within this group, be sure to lean on one another because there's so much knowledge and so much value here. And yeah, like the last thing I want to ask too is, and if you want to share, I would love that. But just, what's kind of a call to action? If you were to get off this call and, move towards wrapping up that promotion this month or move towards, finding that next PC or next business builder, what are you going to do? What's your call to action? I'm going to take a sip of my tea.
I'm back. I think for me, like my call to action, um, I don't know. I have like a couple in mind, but it's just like where to start, especially when I hear like inspirational calls like this and hear what you guys are doing and everything. For me, it's like, okay, now where do I go? Because then I get all these ideas running through my head. Um, but I think my call to action more than anything would be like, once I get home, I'm going to reach out to like a group of people while I am still home and see if they would be up to, meeting up for like a get together on Saturday afternoon this week, and just gives me the chance to talk about more about Arbonne and offer, those samples and everything to people who are maybe on the fence about it. But it's like an in-person get together where there's no pressure and they can just show up and do their thing.
That's awesome. Well, and you saying that, Taryn, too, we have to remember that we have a 90-day money back guarantee. So, like any of these products, yes, we can offer samples too, but we can also be reaching out and offering trials on product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where I found like this week, especially when people have reached out, I've come back with them about like, we do have like, and I don't even call it like a return policy. I call it a trial period when I tell it to people, because that's really what it is. There's no like, there's no fine print with Arbonne. There's nothing like that where if they take it and they don't like it, that, oh, they used it and it's open so they can't return it. There's no fine print like that. It is simply a 90-day trial period. And that's how I sell it to people too, because that's what it is. And so that's how I've snagged some sales this week that have gone through for me, is people don't realize like when you sell it as a return policy, then people get hesitant because they're like, well, then if I open the package, then I can't return it. But that's one thing that I always put in there is like super huge benefit to Arbonne. Like we have a 90-day trial period. If you don't like it, we can get you a full money refund, and you can give the product back however you want to word it. But yeah, that's one thing that I definitely use on all my clients that I have, as well as the ones that reach out to me with questions. And I also upsell the PC a lot as well, because I'm like the one that I play or that placed an order through me yesterday, actually. No, on Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday. Oh my gosh. Sorry, the week is all jumbling together. Um, she reached out to me while I was at Egg in Motion. So I was like trying not to run into people texting down the way walking, and I basically said to her, like, she purchased the coffee protein powder. She's like, I don't drink coffee. I'm not a huge caffeine person, but like that sounds amazing, which is then why I reached out asking about the caffeine content in it.
Yes.
So then I come back to her with that, and she's like, okay, I'm still going to try this. She's like, I think this would be fine. So she purchased it. And that's what I told her, like the 90-day return policy. And then I sold her on the PC too, because I'm like, It's a $20 annual sign up fee. So I said, your renewal date won't be until June, or not June, July of 2026. So I said, it's good for a whole year, not just like calendar year, but a whole year.
Yes.
And so then I said to her, I said, you get 20 to 40% off all your purchases. You get free shipping plus a free product on your next purchase when you place a qualified order of blah, blah, blah. And she's like, this is amazing. She's like, I am totally signing up as a PC. So yeah, it's just stuff like that that I'm like, okay, it's a win.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because you're saving her money, you're setting her up for free gifts and free shipping, and you're showing her the best way to shop, which is our job as consultants, right? We want to be able to set people up with the biggest bang for their buck.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
she has been one of my silent followers for like 3, 4 weeks now. And when she reached out, I was like, oh, yay, exciting.
It's all coming together. Yes. And a big part of that is because of your consistency, Taryn.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Something too, that I have always found to be super helpful. And for anyone that's, asked or reached out for any coaching from me, I know this isn't anything new that you're hearing, but I am always one to make sure my customers and my followers know what I'm working towards, because there are all kinds of people out there that want to help us. And so maybe, Pam over there has been watching us and has been thinking about purchasing, but has kind of been putting it on the back burner. But then as soon as Pam hears, well, oh, like Taryn, Kelly, they're working towards their power to district manager promotion, and I've been wanting to try this protein. Okay, now's the time, because not only do I get to try what I've been wanting to try, but I'm also helping Kelly hit her goal or Taryn hit her goal, right? So I've always been a really big advocate for that. I've never ever held back from sharing what my goal was. And I mean, anybody that watches me on Instagram, I always have a sticky wall up when I'm working towards a goal. My girls are included in it and people love it. And I have so many clients that, not only support me with the product, but they're like waiting for a sticky wall update. They're like, okay, where are your dance parties? Like they're invested. And so, and sometimes there's tons of people too that don't purchase and aren't clients, but they're invested. And you guys, there's so much power behind energy. So when I have somebody message and maybe they don't purchase from me, but I know how excited they are for my sticky wall update, like you better believe that that is going to up my frequency, which is only going to put me in a position to show up with that much more energy and that much more light. And that makes such a difference, right? Versus if we're feeling kind of sleepy, if we're feeling kind of lazy, we're not going to get a lot done. Whereas if, someone somewhere is waiting for my sticky wall update, and I know that that is going to get us pumped, especially the two minis in this house, to get on our stories and do a dance party. So, anyways, cool notes from that is um, don't be afraid to tell people what your goals are and put up a sticky wall or a tracker some way, shape, or form. Okay, we've got 2 minutes left. Are there any other roadblocks or call to actions or anything anybody wants to share? I'll check the chat here quick. Okay. Well, as I've mentioned numerous times, I am always here to chat, always do one-on-ones. My Calendly link is updated. I can reshare it in the group chat for anybody that wants to take a look at it and book in for a strategy call with me. I'm also very much on standby for voice note conversations. Hannah and I are constantly back and forth. So, if you're ever feeling any way, if you're feeling pumped, let me know. If you're not feeling pumped and you're feeling stuck, let me know because there is always, always a way to pivot. We just got to communicate it. Okay, there is how many days left in this month? 13-ish, 14-ish. And you guys, literally anything can happen. Area manager quals can happen, district manager promotions can happen, district manager quals can happen, new PCs, new ICs. We just have to believe and we have to decide. And we have to remember that there's always a little bit of magic out there. So if you're kind of sitting there thinking to yourself, I don't know how this is going to happen, just believe, promise, I promise. So I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to mention, but I can't remember it. So with that being said, I am going to sign off. And again, thank you so much for everyone for sharing tonight. And yeah, I'm always a voice note away, guys. So we will chat soon.